ANZ, and it was actually my first time jumping into a contract role after two straight kind of roles of being a permanent employee in a consulting firm. It was my first entry into contracting.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's interesting. I didn't realize that. So what kind of gave you the courage to go contracting, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, ANZ started the contracting journey. It was only until recently, now, my current role, that everything else has been a contract.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And so. And this is the Accenture or the consulting in me, which is I saw what consulting companies were doing, right?
Yeah.
And like, okay, so that's at a very big scale. But how can I do that on my own and take all of those elements of a consultant and kind of consolidate it, right? And so I thought, I think I can do this, right? I think I know the source, right?
Yeah.
And ANZ, an opportunity opened up, and that kind of was the start of what's been probably 15 odd years in contracting, really, but for probably a handful of companies.
Any sleepless nights?
It's no, not necessarily. There's this. I look at contracting very differently, and at times people have asked me or have told me you're a permanent contractor, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's just the way in which I kind of address the workplace. I've always thought of I've never considered contract as I'm only there for this small period of time.
Yeah.
Which is I guess not how you typically address being a contractor. You're kind of there. Contractors are there thinking, well, that's my 6 months or my 9 months or my 12 months.
Yeah.
But I've always gone into a contract thinking I'm here over the horizon, and you tell me that I'm not, right? Even though my contract tells me that it is, I bet you tell me that I'm not, and I'll behave and act as though I'm here over the horizon. And I think that's why ANZ was like 6-7 years maybe. And
that's what I got here. I think 7 years. I think. Do you think? Sorry, you got me on topic now.
Yeah.
I did my master's thesis was on the lived experience of being a professional contractor.
Oh, there we go.
So we could talk about this. This is definitely a different podcast. But do you think it keeps you more honest being a contractor?
I think the way so multiple schools of thought as a contractor, right? I'm here. I'm a hired gun. I'm here to do my role, right? And I'll do that really well, right? So I think that there's one school of thought around that, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that's successful, right? My school of thought is, you've got a gap, right? I'm here to fill a gap, but there are gaps everywhere, and every industry has got gaps, right? And so my school of thought is, I'm here to fill the gap. I'm guaranteed I'll fill that gap for you, right? But here are all the other gaps, and I think I can help out with that too, right? Yeah. Which is why I ended up, I guess, going from what was probably I think a 9-month initial contract, to a
7 years,
another year, another 6 months, and you're on the list. We have to end you at this period of time. Sure. But then you find a gap, and then someone is like, okay, well, I guess we need that guy.
Look, I think it's interesting that in my experience, there's a difference between the kind of what I call the accidental contractor, that's maybe between jobs and just does this to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And I think they're always looking for a permanent job. Yeah. Or they're always looking at the end date as a finite piece of work.
Yeah.
And then I think there's the kind of professional contractors that decide, no, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to market myself. I'm going to upskill, look for opportunity, etc. And I think when I'm talking with people in the market that are kind of considering it as an option, that's the conversation I have.
Yeah.
Is this kind of just circumstance, or is this something you're kind of committed and mindfully going to go and do? Because if you do, you can make a great career and be very successful, and probably get much more flexibility and choice about the stuff you do as well. So I think there's big pros and cons. But you surprised me. I didn't realize again, and again, it's interesting when you look at your profile. It doesn't obviously stand out that you were a contractor because of the amount of time you've spent places.
Yeah, and it's interesting in a number of different contracts. I've I've had the luxury of even leading teams and managing teams, managing permanent staff, managing contract staff, and that's probably me wearing the hat of I don't treat myself as a contractor. I'm happy to be treated as a contractor, but I don't treat myself as a contractor, and I don't want to treat other staff as contractors. So there's almost this we're here to kind of do a job and do something for our customer, and this comes back to my consulting days, right? So that's where that's what I've learned from my early days, I guess.
Yeah, that's great.